Afternoon. This is Rob Makalek with MasterMine Software, and I'm very pleased to have the opportunity this afternoon to talk with you about IntelliClick. And as our guest today, we've got Steve Pearl, who is the developer of IntelliClick. And initially, what I want to do is talk to you a little bit about MasterMine as an organization, how we fit in with the GoldMine world here, and then give you a very brief sort of verbal introduction to IntelliClick, and then pass you on to Steve. And then we will also talk in the end about MasterMine, not MasterMine the company, but MasterMine for GoldMine, the application that helps you to manage and report on and just sort of deal with the data that is stored in GoldMine, including the kinds of data that gets injected by a product like IntelliClick. So to start with, let me actually what I'll do is I'll just talk a little bit about us. So MasterMine, for those of you who are not already MasterMine users out there, and I've done a little bit of analysis of our of our attendees for this by actually using MasterMine and by using actually IntelliClick. About half of you are already MasterMine customers. Some of you are not. So we will expect that you aren't already familiar with all the details of working with MasterMine for GoldMine as a reporting and analysis tool for GoldMine, and really want to talk to you on the basis of your usage of GoldMine in broadly speaking. And so that's what I'm going to start with. Just wanted to mention before that to let you know that MasterMine is a fully accredited GoldMine partner. That means we can work with you as a GoldMine user in addition to working directly with your GoldMine data together with you. So you feel free to go ahead and ask us any sort of relevant questions that you have, and I mean that both in terms of this webinar today as well as over time. We should be an excellent resource for you as far as your GoldMine usage. Okay, so with that, I'm going to actually just switch ahead and talk a little bit. What I'm really going to do is just sort of set the stage for what we're going to talk about today. So Steve is going to talk about using IntelliClick as a means to integrate GoldMine with email marketing, and actually some steps beyond that. And what I wanted to do is sort of give you this visual, which is a slide that I put together that I think helps to illustrate that what we're talking about here is really expanding GoldMine out to include all of the email activity as well as the web activity that is potentially generated by what you do on the marketing side from GoldMine. In other words, of course, in the past you will have sent out emails from GoldMine. You will have gotten replies back, and hopefully when you send out email, you also are directing people to do something, to take action as a follow-up. For example, to go to your web pages where they might find a form that they can fill out indicating that they have some interest in your product. And if they fill out that form, if you're using the web import functionality that's built into GoldMine, then that interest might would then automatically flow back into your GoldMine. That's what all these sort of complicated arrows are here on the screen that you're seeing. What we're talking, what you kind of notice with this is that for the most part, this is really a one-way communication when you're using what's just built into GoldMine. In other words, you're sending out emails, but you don't really know who opens the emails. You don't know what they do once they get the email. Do they pass it around? Do they click on something to go on to your web page? Unless they happen to fill out your form on your web page, and that loops back to you. Now, in terms of sort of the long arc of how marketing has gone over the years, that's kind of a big step up from the real old days when you used to do direct mail, and really all you could do was send out mail pieces and hopefully have some follow-up calls from sales reps and maybe find out if people had even opened up the envelope that you sent them. Here we are in the 21st century where not only are you sending out information in this one direction, but you really should be able to find out, well, to what degree is that information actually landing with the people that you intend for it to land with. And that's what in my opinion, IntelliClick really brings to the table and does for you in terms of really incorporating both your email and your website right into GoldMine. So visually, the way I describe that here is, not only are you sending out information and getting back information about who opted out from your emails, you can also find out about who opened the emails, what was not delivered. You actually can track what people link on with the links that they click on from the emails to go to various web pages, and know which pages they went to, so you know what their interest in is. And by the way, each one of these things that I'm talking about are clicks, individual clicks that a user might do that get fed directly back into your GoldMine. And you can track when users go back to your website afterwards, you can still know what's happening with them because of the fact that you sent them IntelliClick. Steve will go into a lot of this stuff in a good deal more detail than I am. My point is here to just sort of indicate that all of this activity that's stimulated by your emails could and should be flowing right back into GoldMine, so that as the activity happens in the world, essentially what you're doing is bringing together all of GoldMine and your email and your web pages into a single functioning unit that accumulates a great deal of information about your prospects into GoldMine, where you are able to then perform in a much more intelligent and much more timely fashion the follow-up that's necessary to actually turn all those stimulated activities into business for you. So I wanted to put up that little visual there. This is something my colleagues call my submarine, my image of IntelliClick, but it's really meant to sort of bring together, even though what you see is a lot of arrows and things moving back and forth here. What it's really meant to convey is, yes, there is in fact a lot of information going out. It can, a lot of it, flow right back into GoldMine in a very smooth way that can then turn into results for you. So with that, I just wanted to do sort of that kind of visual positioning of what it is that we're talking about today, and then hand it on over to Steve Pearl. Steve is a longtime GoldMine dealer. He is also the inventor and provider of IntelliClick, and I think probably no further introduction is necessary. At least I hope. Steve, I'm going to switch over and make you the presenter.
Okay, well, Rob.
There we go.
Okay, sure thing. Rob, thank you very much for the intro, for inviting us to be a part of this today. And we are very excited always to be able to expose and show IntelliClick. We're very proud of what this does as an integrated solution with GoldMine for helping you do more effective email and website marketing. And so we'll be trying to talk a little bit about the important differences the product brings to the ability to do email marketing and, for that matter, website marketing, and how we differ from what's out there, and then hopefully some of the examples we show you will further reinforce your understanding of how this plays out, and, of course, very importantly, how MasterMine can really help you leverage the kind of intelligence being gathered in GoldMine from your email campaigns. So I know that slides are not the thing people want to see, so just as Rob kind of limited everything to one slide, I am going to do the same thing. Just going to briefly make sure everyone understands, so how are we different? What is the difference between IntelliClick and anything else you may have already either been acquainted to, using, or considered using when it comes to email marketing? And as you could see, we kind of first distinguish ourselves by being CRM integrated, and in particular integrated tightly with GoldMine as your CRM platform. But there are some other important differences too that we bring to the table when we compare two other service providers. Within the GoldMine integration element, the first thing we do is we provide real-time information. So as you send your campaigns, we're going to tell you as it's happening who's opening, clicking. If they opt out from your emails, that will be also tracked, and we will make sure that's automatically respected in the future. But the key is that it's all automated. There is nothing you need to do to get that information. It automatically stores in the GoldMine environment as it's happening right after people receive your message. We have other capabilities to update your database, and so a click can update a field. It can update an email merge code, for instance, if you want to segment that way. And all of this gives you the ability to trigger automated processes and, in effect, do things like drip marketing and other forms of cross-selling automatically using the power of GoldMine's automated processes. Another piece of the integration we bring to the table is all kinds of readily accessible analytics. We have some built-in GoldMine dashboards that summarize a lot of information about your campaign. There's other types of reporting built within the GoldMine environment you can access, but just as well you can use MasterMine to do a lot of not only analytics and reporting, but then be able to build groups from that information so that you can do follow-on marketing against the results of your campaigns. Now, another important difference is we're interactive, and so when you look at that word, you kind of think, so what is interactive about the emails we send? Well, the first thing we give you the ability to do is alert your staff the moment people click. Now, that alert can be an email or a text message. It can be directed to both internal staff or external, but the key is that it's timely, it's instantaneous, so that you can bring to the attention internally to people the fact that this person is now on your website, what they're looking at, what they're interested in, and at least now they can be on the radar screen to your staff. We also the ability, or offer the ability, to do one-click call to actions, and so the three key types of actions that you can do with our tool is have a piece of literature instantly fulfilled. So this doesn't actually use GoldMine Lit Fulfill. It's an immediate, from a click, return of an email message with an attachment, typically PDF file, that can go back from the person even assigned to the account, coming from the person assigned to that account, and can now basically start the process of engagement with people by putting information in their hands strictly from a click. No need to pick up the phone or go to a website and download. And so you've now got some communication as well as information going their way. Similarly, they can click to sign up for an event, and we'll schedule them into your event on the GoldMine calendar and, of course, give you the ability to quickly see all the attendees signed up for that event. Finally, we now have our scheduled action requests. So people can click, and you can set this up to have all types of requests, from a callback to a quote to literature to many other things where it could schedule to GoldMine the specific action that they're requesting based on what the link you've set up to do. And now you can have someone internally respond, and it simultaneously confirms to the person who clicked that that action is now going to be taken by your company. Web forms to capture leads. We're now providing the ability, if you don't already have any forms integrated with GoldMine. Rob pointed out very well the fact that a web form is another way to start the engagement and the flow of information from your website. So we're now going to be able to provide, or we provide web forms that will integrate, begin the tracking process, begin telling you right from that point forward what sort of interest people have. So not only does it add them to your system, but it will start to track what they do as they move around your website. And so now you have a specific information, not generic like you might have through Google Analytics and things where that identifies maybe IP addresses and things like that, but a very specific person that is now starting to spend time on your website, and it's giving you some important information on how you might want to follow up with that opportunity. We also try to take you beyond the click. So again, we always call this area that deals with website navigation our secret sauce, if you equate it to what McDonald's talks about. And so the website navigation tracking allows us to measure the degree of interest people have, because now not only are we telling you that they've clicked to go to your website, but we're telling you all the pages that they visit after that first click. And if they return to your website tomorrow, next week, next month, we keep that tracking going. We continue to update GoldMine and continue to let you know how recently these people have been on your site and what specifically they've looked at. Now, you have the ability to track not just the pages they're visiting, but even within the page, what things they click on, whether it's a download of a document, watching a video that you provide them. So we have the ability on a click within the page to track and allow you to set some very specific wording on what those items are that they're looking at, which gives you, again, a further level of intelligence. Again, IntelliClick is what we're trying to do, but bring intelligence through a click to you on what people are interested in from your email campaigns. We added about a year and a half ago our engagement module. And so this brings a scoring element into the mix where as people are responding to your campaigns, we're keeping a counter going of the different number of opens, clicks, and pages navigated. We do it in a fashion that you can define what period of time that score needs to represent. Is it a rolling 2 months, 6 months, 12 months? You set that and define the period, and we keep calculating a score so that you can now use that score to filter, trigger, do a number of different things against a score using some of the automation within GoldMine, using MasterMine reporting to give you a hierarchy of accounts that are most interested in your offerings. And so it helps you isolate, segment, and really target the right people because now you have some numerical scores to work with. Excuse me, I'm sorry. Finally, on the licensing, we do differ from other providers in that there's a couple of things we do slightly different. Our product is licensed to your company. You have unlimited number of users who can prepare and send campaigns. It doesn't tie to a limit there, not to your GoldMine license or anything. We even have companies who have people outside of GoldMine actually building and executing sometimes campaigns on their behalf, but with the result ultimately tracking and ending up back in GoldMine. There's no limit to the size of your list or your database. So with many other providers, you're typically paying for the size and the number of names or people that you keep track of in their system. Well, with us, your whole database is fair game. So you're able to segment and track and send to numerous segments within your system. We also have the ability even to do multi-database. So if you have more than one database, we are able to send and track from different databases if that is the type of environment you have. Finally, as far as the way you're paying for our service, it's really kind of a pay for results. We have a pool of results that you're entitled to based on the level of license you buy. But if you don't use up your pool, everything carries over on the renewal of your subscription. So you really never lose out on those results if they go unused. So we make sure that you're kept whole as you continue to use our product and renew. Probably the most important thing to emphasize, though, is that all the things you're getting to do within GoldMine and with our tool, because it's all being stored in GoldMine, you have a permanent record of that information. It's stored in your database. Anything you set up in terms of automated processes and so forth is there forever, whether IntelliClick is in use or not. And that differs a little from platforms that you might buy into where you only have the benefit as long as you license and use their platform because everything you do lives in that platform. So we like to also believe there is that benefit that you ultimately really own all this intelligence and information being stored in your GoldMine environment. So really that gives you a very quick little look at here's where we differ, here are some of the exciting things IntelliClick brings to the table. And so now I thought we could just jump into a little look at IntelliClick in action. And so I'm going to toggle over here to our GoldMine system. And I'm just going to briefly kind of show you the end result. I'm going to work backwards a little here, sort of show you the end result of what happens when campaigns have been sent using IntelliClick and using the type of capabilities and features that we bring. So you're noticing there's a tab called Click Track. So this does get added to your system when IntelliClick is installed. And the Click Track tab does store all the different behavior as people start to react to your campaign. We store who receives your message, who opens it, clicks, and various types of actions they might take, signing up for an event, receiving literature. Obviously, if they should unsubscribe and opt out, we make sure not only that we note it, but very importantly, we track the opt-out at the level of the email. So we do it at an email level. If you have multiple people on your account, only the specific emails that opt out are the ones being excluded in the future sends, and that is all done automatically. Not only the flagging of it, but the exclusion, which when I show you later, our sender will automatically bypass any emails that are unsubscribed or found to be non-deliverable emails. So we make sure that is factored in automatically. No special effort on your part. Now, I mentioned that we have the ability not just to track all this behavior, but update GoldMine and certain information. And so, if, for instance, if you had fields for things like a mailing list, or I mentioned the whole idea of scoring, these fields are examples where we will automatically increment these various counts as your campaigns are storing data. This is all happening in real time and automatically day by day. If you have your records actually set to have salespeople, for instance, assigned to the accounts, you can set it up so that you have some additional fields in GoldMine to allow us to do what we call dynamic alerting. So, for instance, if I have a rep field and I were to change the territory to John Smith, GoldMine automatically can set the proper information for John Smith. But what this allows you to do with our tool is dynamically alert the rep, either by scheduling an action to them as a user, by sending them an email, and if you wish, you can also text message them at the moment of the click. So we believe that with sales, timing is everything, and by making your salesperson armed with that information right at the moment of interest, it's giving them the opportunity to potentially respond, react, and beat out your competitors long before this person may have gone over to the competitor's website. So it does give you that competitive advantage. And in talking to a lot of the customers that have used our product over the years, they really do find that that alerting mechanism and bringing things to their attention the moment somebody is now on their website has been a big advantage to them. Now, we've talked about information flowing into GoldMine, click information, updating a field. I also mentioned we have the ability to take advantage of the GoldMine email merge code. If you're not acquainted, that is a way to have people opt in. We can update that as well. So lots of different ways to keep information flowing back that you can leverage and take advantage of. Advantages can be done through automated processes. You can set up all kinds of different tracks that look for the information and then take further action, whether it's drip marketing, whether it's other types of forms of follow-up. But the key is that there is a very nice, powerful built-in capability in GoldMine to take advantage of information that's there. All our campaigns are predicated on you building a group. So our data, the data you're using is real-time data within your GoldMine environment. There's nothing uploaded to any outside sources. And that means that the moment you're ready to do a campaign, you're ready to just use your GoldMine system exactly in whatever state it is to execute that campaign. This group building exercise, of course, GoldMine has different ways of building groups. I particularly like what MasterMine gives you, which is the ability to segment and pull all kinds of different information together and then have groups built against that. So there may be different sales information that is being stored in your GoldMine system. You may have different types of information in data fields, the source, the geography, the various demographics that matter to you. All those can be used to pull together the groups, and with MasterMine making that happen and pulling it together and building the group is very easy with that tool. Then you're ready to now execute a campaign to that group and start gathering this intelligence in the process. So if we look at IntelliClick itself, and I did, if I'm on the topic of reporting, dashboards is another important way that we give you the ability to sort of assess the successes going on in your campaign. So with our campaign summary dashboard, you're able to pull a period of time that you care about. I'm just going to have this look back 12 months, so back from the first of last year right through to current. This will show you the various campaigns underway and the number of results thus far gathered. And then when you pick the campaign of interest, you could quickly see a summary of all the different forms of tracking and, of course, isolate that. So if I'm, for instance, pointing to the web nav tracking on this campaign, I've now isolated down here the exact people who've navigated, and I can even see in an ascending or descending way the number of times they've navigated different pages, so I can very quickly see who has had the most reaction to this campaign. The beauty of the dashboard is it's real time and it's instant. So as you send out a campaign, within seconds, you can start looking at results and seeing whether you've hit a nerve with your campaign, see the kind of rates of open and clicking that are going on, but more importantly, you can start to react based on those results. So the dashboarding, whether it's our summary or our customer engagement dashboard, the customer engagement dashboard, another way to segment. You can pick what field in the system you care about, whether it's broken out by city, by rank, by rep. Literally every field in your database is available to you to segment on. Industry is often a good example here, where I could choose to say, based on my industry field and my total count with people that have at least done more than 3 things, having a score, I should say, greater than, let's say, 3, show me my breakdown. Now this is giving me a quick breakdown across all my fields, with the field here of insurance showing me the greatest response. And when I drill down, I can see specifically within the insurance industry who's most interested across the campaigns we're doing. Again, I can sort by score, so I can very quickly see in a descending numerical fashion who's the most interested, and I can quickly drill right down to the account by clicking and going to see who the people are and what I might want to do next. Again, similarly, a MasterMine reporting capability would allow you to do that and then build a group. I really emphasize that what I like about MasterMine is not just telling you information, but allowing you to then take action on it by building a group to take the next step, whether it's a calling campaign, an email campaign, whatever you feel is appropriate for the follow-up step you're going to take. So, again, the dashboard, very nice reporting mechanism. Reporting, we do, of course, provide you a certain level of reports. These are all crystal reports that can be run right from inside of the GoldMine environment, and we have a whole array of demographics, or I should say analytics, that you can pull together and quickly see one or multiple campaigns side by side and measure what kind of effects and the specific information, pages being visited, dates, the times, who they are. So we give you a nice summarization of that across all the information being gathered in your GoldMine system. Now, all of this is made possible using our IntelliClick Wizard. I'm just going to bring up our little wizard here. And the wizard is what really you're using as your starting point. Let me just close this other one. It's your starting point to either build out your templates, your campaigns, do your sending. A lot of different things are driven from this one central point. You typically would have a little taskbar in GoldMine where you can access the wizard and some of the other tools that come with IntelliClick. I'm going to just pop here to the HTML template editor as a quick example. We provide you with an online editor and a very large array of templates that you can start off with. These are all professionally designed templates for various types of purposes and industries. So it's a nice broad array. The editor has a lot of very nice features in what you can do within the templates themselves. When you go to one of the areas, one of my favorites is the responsive design templates, as an example. Those give you the ability to build out emails that will, of course, adjust and display based on the device pulling this up. So the responsive, which is more and more becoming very important, the new statistics are showing that in excess of about 70% of people who receive their email first view it on a mobile device, whether it's their iPad, or iPhone, or Droid. So it's a very common use. But what's so nice about things like a responsive template is that it will properly and automatically reformat itself appropriate to the device it's being read on. These templates, again, can be very easily edited for your visuals, your content. The visuals that you replace here with your own are uploaded and made web available, so that, which is where imagery should be stored. So there is no limit to the number of different types of images and logos you might want to use. And then when it's all said and done, it generates for you the HTML that can be brought over, used right inside our tool. So if we've generated our HTML, you can begin a campaign with that template now using the express tracking link. Very simply drop the HTML code right here into this area, and we'll quickly apply all the intelligence to the hyperlinks you've inserted in your message. So we'll build out the open track, the unsubscribe, and the basic tracking of who clicks on which links. So for some people, this is all they need. They don't really want more than just, I just need to know who opened, clicked, or who opted out from mailings. But for those who want to go a little bit deeper, you can either alter some of those links or use the advanced method. And with our advanced method, now we give you a little bit of extra capability. So whether it's a hyperlink, just inserting open, unsubscribe, or access to pulling a vCard, or what we consider to be the very powerful one-click call to actions. And you can see the list of the types of things we give you: the ability to receive literature, sign up for an event, request action, forward to others, capture new names in your database in GoldMine from the forwards that people do, or just simply setting up a nice easy link to opt in for certain types of mailings. That opt-in can be either a field in GoldMine or a merge code being updated from a click. So lots of different very powerful mechanisms, all built and available for you to access through the wizard. And then once your campaign is built, ready to go, our little IntelliSend tool brings a lot of different capabilities here to both manage the integrity of the data within your database, to be sure you have good data to be used, and then to actually execute the send. So I'll point out a couple of things in our IntelliSend module. We have our data integrity management tool. What this allows me to do is tell it to go and look at the database. It will be able to update from our email partner. We partner with Unified Email to have emails routed or relayed through. And by using their servers, we're able to gather all the undeliverable hard bounce information, update your GoldMine system, and automatically put flags to no longer send to invalid, undeliverable email. That's a good way of complying with canned spam, and importantly, trying to keep you as much as possible away from the risk of blacklisting. So that can be automatically done through a connection we make that pulls information from your account and updates your GoldMine system. Once it connects to your GoldMine database, we can now give you a quick look at all your malformed emails, build a group for you so that you can clean those up. We also flag or show all your hard bounces. Once they're flagged, we're going to exclude them, but you can use our tool to, for instance, manage these and say, I want to remove my emails but leave a history entry for future reference, and clean them out of the system if they're not valid. There's no need to keep them. We're going to ignore them and exclude them on sends no matter what. So you don't have to remove them. You can get to this at any point in time, but our system, once flagged, will exclude at the time of a send. Now, when you go to do a send with IntelliClick or an IntelliSend, you load your database. Again, every time you load a database, we always give you the opportunity to hit the unified server and make sure you're up to date. So we take care of flagging so that before we actually load any groups, we've flagged and made sure that people that are out of bounds should not be sent to. So this process just quickly makes the connection, reads the information, checks the emails in your system, and flags them. And usually within about 1 minute or less, the process is done. From there, I can basically load my group, and that group can either be the listing of all your groups will be displayed, but you can drill down to a specific users group if that's easier for you. And you can then pick the group. I'm just going to pull all contacts. And so this group being loaded, in this case I'm loading the entire database, my demo database, has already excluded all hard bounce and unsubscribe. So I now know that it's safe to send to this email list. The next piece of this pie is to just load the template, and we do allow you to pick the template directly from the list of templates in GoldMine. So we're reading the GoldMine list of templates where you're storing them. You can pick the template, change the subject line to whatever you like. We default to the subject line you used when you saved it, but you can change this and alter it in any way you wish. Associate the send to the campaign it belongs to. That's automatically being set as you build your campaigns. You can now schedule the send if that's appropriate. So let's say I really want this to go out later today, toward the end of the day, or I want it to go out first thing tomorrow morning. You could put a specific date and time on the send. A throttle. The account we provide you allows up to 3,000 messages per hour. If you have a group size smaller, you can turn off the throttle. It doesn't have to be on. And then very importantly, we give you the ability to set up and have as many send from accounts. So I don't know if any of you have ever tried to do email campaigns with GoldMine directly and wanted to send from different people. There's numerous steps you have to take to try and make that happen. To say I'm sending from a specific salesperson to their territory, for instance. So with our tool, it's very easy to quickly toggle to whichever is the send from that you want to use. Pick whether you're sending specifically to just the primary or primary additional, or if I don't check anything, we're going to pull everybody. We can still limit to merge codes that are found in your database, so you can isolate down by the merge code if appropriate. And then we allow you to pull up a preview of your emails, see what the actual message will look like rendered in the full HTML. So this will bring up the actual message and show you what it's going to look like. You can actually test the message right here by clicking on it and seeing if it tracks the results. But you can also send test messages to yourself and others. You can do a content analysis to check what kind of spam level there might be in this message, and we then have that getting reviewed and evaluated by Spam Assassin with a report returned back to you quickly, identifying if there's any issues with your subject line or the content that might tend to get trapped as spam by the typical spam filters that are being used out there. And of course, it's getting trickier all the time. Spam Assassin, the tool evaluating this, is one of the industry-leading tools to do this, and they have a good way of helping assess and giving you some feedback on the message if there is some possible reasons it will have trouble getting through. Once you've sent some test messages to yourself, check for the analysis, you can go ahead and actually execute the send. And once it does so, we will then save a log with all the information of how long it took, who got the message, if any didn't get delivered, why. We'll even save for you the template and the list in a small CSV file. So you have a full logging of everything that you've done that can be reviewed in the future. And those logs actually are accessible right here under our View Past Send Log area, where you can literally, by date and time, look at any sends you've done to see exactly what was done and what's out there. It's all stored in these various folders automatically at the end of the send for you. One other very interesting feature, again, very unique feature of our product, is we have something that allows you to do batch sends. And we've had a lot of clients where they have multiple territories and they want to be able to do a single mailing on behalf of their salespeople and have it come from each respective rep all at one time. And so the auto template allows you to build out a series of batches. Those batches can be territories, divisions, or any segment of the database you might want to use. You set up a little query that isolates that. You can test your queries, make sure that it looks correct, that it's pulling the right number of accounts. And then here you can set the name of the person from whom it's coming, pick the template, and then in the future, all it ever changes as these batches are used is really just the email you're sending. The territory query and the from address never change. You just simply browse, pick your template for this mailing, and now it's available to you to choose one or all territories, some or all, by choosing here and then executing your send to those specific batches. So the auto template is another feature that we believe really distinguishes what our product can do to help you facilitate email campaigns and make them very specific in terms of who they're coming from, which is very important in getting through to people's inbox. You ideally want to be a known sender. This allows you to not just send generically, but send from each of your individual salespeople to their audience. Rob, I'm going to pause here. I'm not sure if there's been questions or anything posted along the way, but I'm going to sort of turn it back to you and see if there's other things we might want to address.
Okay. Well, we have had a couple of questions along the way here, but for the most part, have answered them as they came along.
Okay.
Although you may want to generally answer. So we did have the question of does GoldMine work only with GoldMine?
Does IntelliClick work only with GoldMine?
Sorry, IntelliClick work.
GoldMine only works with GoldMine, yes. It does. That I can tell you for sure. But
more
does
broadly,
IntelliClick only work with GoldMine? Well, we have a few versions of IntelliClick. We do have a version that has almost identical integration with a product called ACT. So if you happen to use an ACT, we do have an integration with that CRM. And we have our AnySource version. And the AnySource version allows you to generate a data file from any place you have your data. It could be an ERP system. It could be any CRM system out there that can export to a CSV file. Again, the file remains in your system. You can now point to that file, load the emails to send to from the file, still use our templates, still get all the benefits of the tracking, the alerting, the web navigation, all that. But the storage of the data is being stored in our environment on our server. Then you still will have, instead of a report through a GoldMine menu, you'll have a little slightly different menu that has another area for reporting that will allow you to report against the data stored on our side. So you can do that. We've had some people where they eventually use our product but buy GoldMine later on. So all results, if you do store them on our side, can be deposited into GoldMine or ACT if you ever end up buying those products at a later date. But the AnySource version does give you the same capabilities without the CRM area to store the data.
Okay, and just to kind of add a little bit to that comment, I think that one of the great things about IntelliClick is all that information that it helps you to collect, but it isn't all by itself. Sort of in a larger view, it's not all of the information that you might want to have, and then of course having a CRM at the back end that it feeds into is one of the great things about this. And in fact, it's if GoldMine and ACT are the two sort of primary CRM applications that IntelliClick works with, then that one thing that tells you, I think, is that this is one of the great kind of unique things about GoldMine in the universe of possible CRMs out there. Salesforce.com and others don't have this sort of capability. At best, they sort of integrate a little bit with some online services, but that's nowhere near, doesn't provide you with anywhere near the kind of in-depth control and insight into what's really happening out there with your email marketing.
True. I totally agree with you, Rob.
That's I think the only general interest question that we had out here. And I did actually neglect to mention for our listeners, if you do have any questions that you would like to post, please feel free. Go ahead and continue to put those into the question dialog within the GoToMeeting, within that larger GoToMeeting control there. Otherwise, you can minimize that control off to the right and make sure that you see the whole screen. Okay, so and Steve, is there more, or would you like to pass it back to me?
Well, I thought maybe a quick look at the MasterMine templates for IntelliClick probably are worth a look, because I've certainly alluded to the fact that you guys have some awesome tools tied very tightly to our data, and I thought maybe giving a quick look at what those do might be worth a good look at.
What a great idea. Okay, I'm going to switch over here, and so you'll see a new screen now, but this is the same old GoldMine, and I in fact did want to show you a little bit of what you can see with MasterMine. Now I know that half of you on the meeting here are GoldMine, or excuse me, are MasterMine users already. and half are not. So I'll try to sort of speak to both of you simultaneously. What I'm going to do here is launch MasterMine, which is MasterMine Software's proprietary integration with GoldMine, and it is used as a tool for doing reporting and managing GoldMine data. So it's just specifically sort of keeping it related to the IntelliClick information that is gathered into GoldMine. I'm actually working with a database here that does have some IntelliClick data built in it. So you'll see, for example, down here on the Details tab of this record are email sends actually that have gone out within certain different campaigns. That's what the sort of raw data looks like on the GoldMine side, or actually we could look at it on the ClickTrack. Whoops, the ClickTrack tab. My system is working kind of slowly for me here today, so let's just do that. I'll put that back, and it looks very similar actually, although on the ClickTrack tab you see a little bit more of the detail there. So within MasterMine, what I'm going to do is first I'll just show you that we do have built-in templates. So for those of you who already do have the ability to create MasterMine reports, where you find your IntelliClick templates is of course very important. So the create dialog here for creating a new report against GoldMine, it's the same dialog, of course, that you're used to, where you choose the area of GoldMine that you're interested in, or a template, and then your fields, and then hit finish, and that brings your information over into Excel where you can work with it. The difference here with IntelliClick is if you go up here under toolkits, you should all find a built-in toolkit that we actually call IntelliClick that has a number of different templates built in. And this focuses on various areas within GoldMine. And so though you MasterMine users know that any MasterMine template is not just a single layout report, it is actually a lead-in to an infinite number of possible variety or possible ways of arranging that. But it does sort of organize things by topic. So for example, if we did a report that specifically focuses on the clicks as they show up on the history tab in GoldMine, if that's where you chose to save them with IntelliClick, then that kind of reporting would give you the actual clicking history from the history tab. Or if you wanted to do more broadly reporting on the campaigns that you did, with campaigns, you're going to get an overview of here's all the campaigns that we did. Usually that's your starting point. All the campaigns that we've done, when they were sent, and you know how many of those, and in whatever level of detail you choose, how many of those opened it, how many clicked on link 1, link 2, link 3, or however many, whichever links that you've got in your emails, and you know whatever web navigation that follows. So in other words, you really are able to get a very good overview of this. Actually, I want to pause here for just a second and mention that with IntelliClick, you are likely to have a good deal more in terms of just the raw number of records of activity. You're likely to have a good deal more of that pouring into GoldMine than you would normally have just by having a few users who are manually, you know, completing calls or completing sales. You are actually feeding a good deal of information into GoldMine, which means many records, and when you have many records like that, being able to grapple with all of that data is one of the keys to really exploiting it. And when I say grapple with it, I really mean having a tool like MasterMine where that information can come out and be summarized and accessible at your fingertips and so on, and actually have it still link back with GoldMine. So I did want to show you that where the template of opportunities are, of the toolkit of templates is available here. Now I've actually already created a report here, so I'm just going to actually open one that I created a little while ago here, and that's not the one that I want to go with. I'm going to open this up. Go back to my launch dialog here, where I've got my full selection of past MasterMine reports that I created. And by the way, the dialog that's coming up here, this is of course the somewhat newer launch dialog. For those of you who are MasterMine users, if you don't see a dialog like this when you launch your MasterMine, you might be a little behind on your installation of MasterMine. So if you're on maintenance, of course, you get the updates for free. So do go ahead and pick this up. The report that I want to pull in is one that I just recently did here called Clicks Analysis. And this will give you an idea of what this data looks like from an overview perspective, as well as some of the activities that you can, or the actions that you can take as a result of what you find in MasterMine. So in GoldMine. So this is the Clicks Analysis report that I prepared here just before we got started this morning. This gives you, in this case, this is an overview of the clicks that we had flow into GoldMine as a result of sending out the invitation for this joint webinar that we're doing today with IntelliClick. Now this is set up in such a way that I can pick any of the campaigns that we've done using IntelliClick, and as you can see, we've done quite a few of them here. We've also, and by the way, if I just go back and show you the types of things, we've invitations to webinars, we use this for newsletter, a lot of issues of newsletters and so on. We're able to actually differentiate where the results from different campaigns, differentiate the results by campaign, or we can actually go the other way around and look at, for example, things that have been clicked on across different campaigns. In other words, the same link or the same action item that we have marketed through varying campaigns would also be able to be aggregated here into one view. So in this case, we're talking about the response to our two emailings. We actually sent them out here on February 24th and then another one on March 6th, and we can see how many of those were opened, how many actual clicks each one of those resulted in, and the unsubscribes. That's my initial screen in this MasterMine report. A MasterMine report is actually a workbook that has many different views into the same data, as I'm illustrating here. So for example, we might see them this way, but also do some follow-up from this. So for example, because any criteria any fields that are in GoldMine might be used as criteria here, we might do things like, well, let's specify only, let's say, end users of this software that we sent this invitation out to. This is actually somewhat fewer of them because we also have other kinds of people, our own employees that we sent to, prospects and so on. This, if I leave this wide open again, this links back, of course, to GoldMine again. So if we wanted to, we would be able to drill through right to GoldMine records. If I choose to go, let's just take an example, these 10 that opened the message on March 2nd, double click, and there's the, that's the list of 10 that actually clicked on that date, or excuse me, that opened the invitation on that date. And of course we have access right back into GoldMine itself for these. So if we double click on, let's say this one, info code, it goes right to the info code record in GoldMine, and that allows me to really have from my reports access right back to records so that I can do some appropriate follow-up calling or updating data or whatever it is that makes sense. So that drill through, what I want to emphasize with this is, of course, that interactivity of not just reports that tell you in static numbers what happened, but also the ability to drill through and see whatever level of detail you need to, as well as get right to the GoldMine records. Second view here that I created in advance is a URL analysis. This actually tells me, just for the ones, again, that we invited to come to this event, how many of them actually clicked on something within the email and went to a page either on our website or someplace outside. And of course, because I can double click and see the detail of them, who are they and how do I want to follow up with them. So in this case, I've actually got them into two different groups of the URLs. So if I roll these down, we'll see that this top one here this is the webinar registration itself. There was just one link for that, and 45 people went to that link. And then the second one here is the this is actually people who went and took a look at from a different link in the same invitation that went right to the IntelliClick software site, so they could learn a little bit more about IntelliClick in advance on the call. Now, if I open this up, by the way, this just gives us a slightly different view. Let's say we were to look across all campaigns. I think when I created this report, we included the data going back to the beginning of January this year. So this is all of our campaigns and the clicks that have been tracked. Now, in this case, what we see is webinar registrations, and these are registrations for different. Each one of these is a different webinar, and if we actually relate these back to the campaign itself, the campaign name itself, we would know exactly what they're registering for. More interestingly, though, I think, is web pages. What web pages did people go to as a result of these invitations? So in this case, they went to, on our MasterMine website, they went to our overall webinars page that describes a number of different webinars that people can watch, as well as, in this case, they clicked on the button that gave them a look at sort of a quick preview of MasterMine from our website. This is just by way of saying, all right, you can see this information rolled up, you can roll it down selectively, you can get at the actual records, the actual list of people, all from this one kind of compact page that allows you to take the next step and take the appropriate follow-up action for whatever you learn from the report. Couple of other examples here. Clicks by hour. This is just a quick. This is an overview of. Whoops, wanted to go here to just sort of compact this down. I like this report because what this tells me is, all right, we sent out this invitation. It was on that date. We see what time of day people are responding. Now, for a lot of marketing, you don't really care whether they responded at 10 a.m. or 3 p.m. Except that one of the things that you learn by doing this over time and looking across different campaigns is you find out what time of day is the best time for you to send your email marketing out. In other words, what time of day, given the time that you started your email send, when do you get the most responses? When do you get the most opens? When do you get the most clicks through to your website? All of that can be discovered by doing this sort of analysis, which I just sort of set up here in a couple of minutes here using a MasterMine report. Another example is respondent analysis. I like this one a lot because this one essentially gives you the ability to really dig in and understand who's responding to our emails, and maybe more importantly, what's the appropriate way to hand this off to our sales reps so that they get a timely response happening to the customer or to the prospect. Steve mentioned the fact that as people click as they click on a link in your email, that can come back and say schedule a call by a sales rep immediately in your GoldMine so that immediate follow-up can happen. This gives you the ability to respond really over time. Maybe you don't want to have that single immediate response, but you want to be able to, based on somewhat more aggregated data, have the right follow-up happen. So, for example, we might choose to have, the contact type only be the ones that are end users, and let's say by account rep and by, I'll take a geography, for example. By account rep and geography, this is by United States by state, see how that results, and then do your appropriate follow-up if you're a geographical-based business, organize your states appropriately, and then do your follow-up. Now, what the follow-up might be, for example, would be, as Steve mentioned, build a group based on multiple criteria. It could be location, past activity, when was the last time your sales rep actually talked to them. If it was within the last 3 months, do one response. If it was within the last week, do a different response. Everything that you can imagine can be built into how you respond, or which messages you respond with, or which type of activity for follow-up. this makes it just very easy because you can use this to build GoldMine groups. So I'll take an example. Let's say we take our Western states, and I'm not going to select them right now. I'm just going to use the tool here to build a group. Let's call these our Western states. If I were doing this a little bit more carefully, I would choose them, obviously, based on geography. The point here being just simply that it's very easy to take this information, segment it down into counts, or to include, just the ones that are appropriate for a particular way of responding, and then build your GoldMine group. So if I wanted to build a GoldMine group here of the 28, the ones that responded that are in the Western states, a drill down gives me that list. I can eyeball it, make sure that it's who I want. And then with the tool on the MasterMine side, let's say build this GoldMine group. Sorry, my dialog came up on the other side here. Western States mailer, or whatever it might be. And that quickly just interacts back with GoldMine to make a group that I can now continue on. Let's say my next action from GoldMine would be to do an email merge where I choose let's say this email that's going, and the recipient for that is going to be the group that I just built here that was called Western States Mailer. Say OK, and out it would go. So the idea being without really spending lots of time with for a marketing person who normally would have to dig through this information in painstaking fashion. Maybe have a good deal of technical knowledge about how to build SQL queries that would give them, that would allow them the kind of flexibility to go after the people that they want. What MasterMine does is actually remove that requirement of a lot of technical knowledge by just allowing them to drag and drop and group and choose things in segments. Okay, one last thing I was just going to mention about web navigations here. Also, because IntelliClick can track where people go on your website after they have clicked to go to your website, that is a great deal of wonderful inside intelligence about your prospects. And it will continue. I believe Steve mentioned it will continue to track that even when the user didn't, when it's not the same session on which they actually linked through to your website. There's a cookie there that will actually continue to track over time. So every time they hit your website, again, that is immediately recorded back in your GoldMine, almost as if by magic. And what MasterMine will allow you to do is take that information out and employ it profitably. Okay, so we're a little bit past our 3 o'clock limit on this, so I want to thank everybody for giving us the time to take a look at IntelliClick this afternoon. I hope that we have kept it within the boundaries of your interest as far as what you should be able to do with GoldMine. Really, to me, it's one of the most exciting things that you can do with GoldMine that you just can't do with other CRMs, is really have an integrated, well built out, well thought through, solid marketing system that reaches out and incorporates your website and your email right into the database that you own, into the GoldMine database that you own, that's not rented, it's not out on the cloud where you can't get to it. It's right there at your fingertips. Bringing all these things together is really important, I think. And so with that, if there are any questions, we'll take a look at what the questions are that we have on the GoToWebinar dialog here. Can you import or use lists with IntelliClick that aren't in your GoldMine database, or do the lists need to be imported before using the full functionality? We don't always want a list in GoldMine until it becomes a legitimate lead. Steve, do you want to answer that?
Two ways to address that. We have some clients who use a separate database, and they import to a separate GoldMine database, use our multi-database capability, and then simply move records that do qualify easily from one database to the other as those become qualified leads. The other option would be to have a separate AnySource license and use our AnySource version that allows you to just take spreadsheets and execute mailing campaigns, and you could go that route. If you have a GoldMine license, there is a lower cost option to have the AnySource license so that you can do separate types of campaigns using that version. It does require different types of links to be set up, and so it takes care of all that when setting up your campaigns. So yes, it is possible to do it either through multi-database or using the AnySource version.
And Steve, related to that would be this other question: is it advisable in a situation like the one that you were just talking about to maybe import lists into additional GoldMine databases separate from the main one, so that you can maybe do a test mailing against it, and then based on that incorporate that information into your main database?
Yeah, I mean, again, having separate databases, it really is more a question of, from a business perspective, what you feel is going to work best for you. We've always thought consolidating into one single environment means it's very easy to toggle the status of an account from, you know, a very suspect to a prospect to, you know, and you can move them up the ladder if it's in one place. But if you really do want to have a separate pool of data and manage it there and move it later, then a separate database makes it easy to do. So it really becomes more of a business need, business process question that, you know, ideally would be handled by your GoldMine partners in tandem with you as you review the best way to go. But it is all possible using our tool to do it.
Okay. All right. That's, I think, all the questions we have and all the time we have this afternoon. Steve, I want to thank you very much once again for introducing IntelliClick to our viewers today. And if there are any further questions regarding regarding IntelliClick, what I would like to do is direct you first off, if you've got a GoldMine partner that you work closely with, go ahead and ask them about IntelliClick and work through your eventual purchase of IntelliClick with them. If you don't have a GoldMine partner that you work with, you're certainly welcome to work with us at MasterMine. Or if you just have further questions that you'd like to ask us about, especially as it relates to reporting and the potential of working with it on using MasterMine, then you know, do by all means come back to us again. I'll put our contact information up here. Actually, what I've got is my contact information. Steve, I hope it's okay. I'll just do that as long as it's here. So this will just sort of be the final slide here, just to give you who to contact and how to find out more if you want to. And let's leave it at that. Thank you all very much for your time and attention this afternoon.